They've added another Landorus? Oh god, think of the meta. Oh my humanity, it's going somewhere. Wait a second. There's a chance all of these Hisuian Pokemon are gonna be trapped in the Shadow Realm of a non-traditional Pokemon game. Like, remember Dark Lugia? Well, it's about time I start this video, because I've been writing it for a few years now. What the heck is up with all of these Landorus? I mean, what even is the Force of Nature trio? Oh wait, foursome. That is not a word I should be using in this context. Quartet. Force of Nature Quartet. Yeah, it's like a barbershop quartet. Thunderous is definitely the baritone. Oh. Alright, let's be honest. I'm making this video because of the new one. And it's pretty weird looking. I guess they didn't want yet another gruff shirtless dude with Animorph powers. But first, just so that we're all clear here, real quick, unlike the original trio, which are 100% manly males, Enamorous, the new one, is 100% female. They had to specify that so that they can still sell this game in West Taiwan. Also, since we're talking clarification, no, they are not genies. There are a number of fan names for this trio, like the Kami Trio and the Legendary Genies, but there's nothing at all genie about them. Okay, yeah, that was a lie. There's a lot of things that are genie about them, but that's more coincidental than intentional. Sure, they got the buff bods, the clouds instead of a bottom, and the highly saturated skin tones, and even the pose. Sort of. It really is an accidental similarity, though, just like how pyramids are found all over the world, but by totally different civilizations, or how most mythologies have a dragon of sorts. Yeah, these Kami just happen to kind of resemble genies when done up in the way Pokemon decided to do it. Also, yes, they are different from the Weather Trio. That's these guys. Yeah! The Force of Nature is one of my favorite weapons, but also one of my least favorite legendary groups. But at least their origins are neat. They are primarily based on Fujin, the Kami of Wind, Raijin, the Kami of Thunder, and Inari, the Kami of Fertility of the Land. Actually, Fujin and Raijin are referenced in Japanese media quite often, especially as a duo. My favorite example is in The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, where they are large frog gods. According to interviews with Ken Sugimori, Thunderous and Tornadus were originally planned as a duo, and they were red and blue like the traditional Oni characters, but they seemed to clash with Sock and Throw, who were also the red and blue Oni. I actually have a whole video about their origins up here. It's surprisingly deep. But later in development they added Landorus, and they changed their colors around to blue and green, with the final one being a brown-orange. And here's a fun detail. Look at the number of horns they have. 1, 2, 3, and they kept that up with Enamorous as 4. Love that.
Hate this though. He freaking ruined the meta.
Landorus was so good and overused that a lot of Pokemon's meta for the next few generations were all about how your team counters Landorus specifically. Because if you didn't have a Landorus counter, or a Landorus, you were probably screwed. So why was Landorus so good? Well, imagine this. An extremely strong, bulky, omnipresent, competitive, multi-role ground flying type.
Except good. It's Landorus.
Like, Gligar's not bad either. Ground flying is a really good type combo, immune to both ground and electric. 3 resistances, only 2 weaknesses, and one of them's kinda rare. And Landorus can do anything, like any team role. The beast can be your tank, your pivot, your sweeper, heck, even your setup. Like anything. Like literally teams were made to counter him. Heck, he could counter himself. That's how great it was. Plus, the best part. DreamWorks face. He's got it. The look. I'm getting distracted by numbers here. Back to lore. Landorus's Kami is that of Inari, the Kami of rice and agriculture and fertility. Makes some sense. I mean, it's the land god. Actually, we didn't even talk about the last bit of their name, the Aurus. It turns out that that's also from a wind god. Wow, all of these flying wind gods are named after some wind gods. Aeolus, specifically, from Greek mythology, known as the Keeper of Winds. And really, what is with all of these wind gods being so manly? It's because today's sponsor is going to wind you over. Bespoke Post is a monthly membership club delivering awesome boxes of top-shelf goods from under-the-radar brands. But what's in the box? Well, it's anything from bags to booze, camping to cooking. It's got something for everyone, and with their preference quiz, you can see what you want easier. And if you find a month boring or just not feeling it, skip it or change it. You get to know what's in these boxes every month. There's no mystery. Plus, every box is about a $70 retail value, only a fraction of the cost to you. Bespoke sent me a few boxes to check out. The first was the Weekender. This wonderful, sturdy canvas bag. It's perfect for weekends out or cons I go to. That's a nice bag! I also got Swing, but for Josh, our resident woodworker here at Gnoggin.
Here you go, man friend.
Thanks. Josh is excited to use it for camping and making a fire, but he also wanted to see if he could do a few carpentry cuts with it. I also got Sizzle. This box includes a carbon steel stir-fry pan, bamboo steamer, cooking chopsticks, plus sesame oil and spicy chili crisp. Oh, I can smell it already. I'm ready to go camping and hunt me down a man. And get 20% off of your first box by using the coupon code LOXTON20 at the link in the description, bespokepost.com/LOXTON20. We have a bespoke wheel. Oof. I'm back. There. Everything's fixed. We're back. Right, where were we? Japanese kami for the incarnates. Right. There's more to them than just that, though, because they also draw from Chinese culture as well. Specifically, their Therian forms. Oh, fun fact, Therian means animal. It's their animal forms. Although specifically, Therian means mammalian and or placental, which doesn't work entirely because we have a bird and a turtle now. But it's more commonly used these days to just mean animal, so you know, definitions change as people use words wrong. Their main forms are incarnate, which means the embodiment of, or in human form, hence their more humanoid shape. But back to the Chinese part. The four of them are the four gods, or the four auspicious beasts. Symbols in Chinese astrology. These include the azure dragon of the east, the vermilion bird of the south, the white tiger of the west, and the black tortoise of the north. Each one represents a cardinal direction and a color. We have Thunderous as the blue dragon, the vermilion bird then would be Tornadus, and the white tiger is Landorus. And then, introducing the new Krabby Patty, it's Enamorous. It's clearly the tortoise, though, with stupid duck feet. It makes you wonder why Enamorous wasn't there to begin with, though, if they are perfectly this group of four representing these four things, and clearly that was the idea from the get-go? Was it just because Gen 5 was already oversaturated with legendaries? Was it because there had never been a legendary quartet before? Even though the Swords of Justice are kind of that, but with an asterisk. Or maybe it's because if they were to consider the entire group at once, we'd end up with 5 new legendaries here. Because there is a 5th. The Yellow Emperor of the Center, also known as the Yellow Dragon. This Emperor Dragon is said to rule over the other 4, as it is the most powerful and auspicious, and it is its duty to keep balance between the others. Actually, that's exactly what Kyurem does for its trio. While yes, Reshiram and Zekrom are the yin and yang, while Kyurem is Wuji, they also perfectly represent Sulfic Salt, Sulfic Sulfur, and Sulfic Mercury, the 3 essentials in alchemy, represented by a 3-headed dragon that sometimes splits up into multiple dragons. And it is the job of Sulfic Salt to keep the other 2 balanced and in check, as those 2 on their own often conflict with one another as they are the 2 contraries. And on top of this, you know those gems we were pointing out earlier? While the 4 Landeruses don't all match the colors of their constellation counterparts, the gems in their Therian form bellies do. Like, there's no reason for Tornadus to have this strikingly out-of-place vermilion gem, if not to reference the vermilion bird. All of this would mean that this pentuplet of constellations is missing only one. A dragon with a yellow crystal that rules over the others. Much like Kyurem, huh? With its yellow crystal. This all works especially well as the original Force of Nature trio are found in Unova, just like Kyurem. Original Dragon Pioneer Unova for the next Legends game. And also, what's with this new Force of Nature? We have tornadoes, thunderstorms, Landorus, and now, supposedly, Love? Yeah, the greatest force of nature. Love. Wars have been fought over it. So okay, as a trio, they make some sense. Thunderstorms create nitrates in the atmosphere. High winds spread those nitrates all over everywhere, and then they all fall into the land and fertilize the plants. So in a way, the first two are causing havoc, and then Landorus, their master, is putting all that to good use. And then love. Here's some Pokedex entries. When it flies to this land from across the sea, the bitter winter comes to an end. According to legend, this Pokemon's love gives rise to the budding of fresh life across Hisui. A different guise from its feminine humanoid form. From the clouds, it descends upon those who treat any form of life with disrespect, and metes out wrathful, ruthless punishment. It flies to this land across the sea. Could be a reference to old Unova, perhaps. That's where the rest of them are from. And wouldn't that make a way cool sequel to Legends Arceus, right? Original dragon stuff? Plus, there's plenty of Gen 5 references and things in PLA, right? But then the rest of that first Pokedex entry just says it's like love and then the coming of spring, which like I guess is a force of nature, seasons, but love, it's even in the name. Enamor. To enamor is to be filled with a feeling of love for something. Which also fits the fairy typing, I suppose. Which is, in a way, also a nature magic type, so coming of spring. So like the others, it's a kami, and there are only a few kami that fit this description. Now, I originally thought it was going to be a weird stretch to match some kami to this. It's got a weird snake and a weird face, and it's pink, and it's about love, but actually it's not love, it's just fertility, like Landorus is, but it's also love. Plus its Therian form is even weirder. But let's start with its incarnate form. There are a few kami it could be pulling from. The first involves Okuninushi, specifically Okuninushi no Mikoto, a central deity, god of medicine, protective magic, nation building, and agriculture as a whole. And then there's Susano no Mikoto, the god of storms, fields, harvest, marriage, and love. That's kinda all four of them, isn't it? Well, as it goes, Okuninushi fell in love with Susano's daughter, Susari Bime, and Susanoo wasn't going to have any of that, so he said you have to pass a trial to win her hand, because women are property. And his first test to prove his love was to survive a night surrounded by venomous snakes. Susari Bime gave him a magical scarf for protection, which allowed him to survive the night. And it's just so very convenient that our Pokemon here has a scarf made out of snake. A scarf being worn to prove the power of love. Another kami it could be pulling from is Ugajin. Sorry for my mispronunciations if that's wrong, but it is a kami of harvest and fertility. Again. But this kami is special in that it's a lady, just like Enamorous. Really though, to be completely clear, Ugajin is both. It switches between male and female, but like, look at these statues. Snake around the neck, or rather, snake as the neck. Yes, please. And here's another statue showing him. Look at that fancy headdress. It's just like the fancy heart-shaped headdress on Enamorous. Granted, Enamorous has a lot of modern ideas put into its design. There are a lot of little hearts, and it's entirely the color pink and red, and even the hair is a little heart-shaped, which really has a big, long history in and of itself. The heart symbol, as anatomically incorrect as it is, has become a symbol of love, and artists are just bad at listening to scientists sometimes. I mean, look at this medieval depiction of a rhino. That is a dog with a horn. Now, I know the popularity of Shiva means I have to mention him, and it's true. That old Dex entry, it flies to this land from across the sea, could be a reference to mainland Asia. And this take of the Dex entry, of course, comes immediately from Shiva, one of the principal deities in Hinduism. And I mean, just look! Notice the very, very clear and obvious snake around the neck. It's just like the very clear and obvious snake around Enamorous's neck. And Shiva is a pretty awesome, manly guy. But Enamorous specifically isn't. Also, Shiva is the god of destruction, and that's kinda the opposite of fertility. Oh, but Shiva's wife, Parvati, is the goddess of nourishment and fertility. So is Enamorous inspired by the idea of Parvati dressing up as her husband Shiva? Perhaps, I guess. Though, Shiva isn't a kami, and it's a bit weird to break the trend of these forces of nature all being kami. Then again, it is also weird to break the trend of them all being naked buff dudes. But hey, there's nothing wrong with pulling elements from many related deities and bringing them together, especially not Hindu, Buddhist, and Shinto ones, as many of them already mingle or are inspired by one another. And who knows, if this is the intent, maybe Gen 9 will give us 2 more Landeruses that look even more like Enamorous. But one can only pray that won't happen. Future Loxton. Gen 9 was revealed a couple hours ago. Spain, from the year 711 to around 1492, was under Islamic rule. You know, the culture that genies tends to come from. We're gonna get 2 more. I'm tired, man. Bonus design detail! Enamorous has a very peculiar lip shape, right? Well, being in Hisui, this fits perfectly with an Ainu tradition. The Ainu are those indigenous to Hokkaido, which is what Hisui is based on, remember? And you see, Ainu women specifically would often have tattoos on various parts of their body for various reasons, but the most noteworthy, both because it's the most characteristic and because it's arguably the most important to them, are the women's face tattoos on and around their lips, which makes the same shape that Enamorous's lips are. That's pretty cool. These particular face tattoos were said to protect them from evil spirits who wish to enter their bodies. Kind of fitting that Enamorous resists dark-type attacks then, huh? So that's the idea with the Incarnate form. So now how about Therian form? I have seen nothing worse. Enamorous's Therian form is a turtle-shelled, duck-footed monster. Its little heart-shaped nose is like those turtles with the noses. And it's got a snake on its back, and a cloud for a body for no reason, and there's all the hearts! Again! But at least it fills in that gap with the Chinese constellations. It's the tortoise, clearly. And actually, here is a statue of this tortoise. Here's a coin depicting all 4 of them. Do you see it? Yeah, it's a tortoise with a snake wrapped around it. What the heck? Why is Enamorous's Therian form perfect? I hate when the ugly things are justified. It's the mood I get. At least the connection between this particular tortoise and love is kind of loose. The best you got is that love lives on forever, and this tortoise is a symbol of longevity. But that's really grasping at Hallmark movie straws. But here's another fun connection. The tortoise represents the north, and Hisui is based on Hokkaido, which is Japan's northernmost point. And also, this constellation represents the cold, winter season, which brings us back to those Pokédex entries about how Enamorous comes in the winter to bring about the spring. But I just cannot get over those stupid duck feet. I mean, what are those? It's gotta have a reason, right? I guess it could just be because it's a Chinese soft-shelled turtle. I mean, that does have the nose, and its shell is soft like a cloud, and it's fitting because it's taking the place of the Chinese black tortoise in the sky, and Pokemon tends to mix turtles and tortoises together all the time, so yeah, it's definitely one of those. I mean, look, they even have the feet like that. They're webbed. Not quite as duck shape as Enamorous's, but still. But you know me, I love stretching as long as there's a good connection. Consider the kami I've been talking about already, specifically that statue I showed you of Ugajin. That statue is actually Benzaiten fused with Ugajin. That's why there's a second, smaller head on top, and behind that crown you can sort of see its coiled snake body. So who's Benzaiten? Well, that depends on who you ask. Some say another kami. Some say a Hindu goddess. Some say both. But either way, she is the goddess of flow, like water and such, but is also seen as a god of love and femininity, which are commonly associated with the sea and water. Most of her shrines are on tiny little islands, actually. If you've seen my video that dives deep into the design inspirations of the Sinnoh region itself, you'd remember that Benten Island exists. Benten is another translation or shortening of Benzaiten. And wouldn't you know it, Benten Island, it's in the same exact area that you find Enamorous in Hisui. That's amazing. Honestly, check out that video. It's Sinnoh gets way deep at times. I mean, look at the thumbnail. Even the same number of bridges on certain routes is identical. But also, Ben 10 is often depicted with a swan at her feet. Swans, of course, are an international symbol of love and affection because they are beautiful, mate for life, and when they hug, they form a little heart shape with their necks. So it's even more perfectly fitting of Enamorous. Sure, the swan isn't literally her feet, but still. And then the mortal enemy of the snake is the white peacock and the white swan, but her power of love lets them be this close to each other regardless. And that's why there are duck or swan feet. And actually, the incarnate form is also based on Benzaiten a lot. Really cool to see all of these themes work together like this. Japanese, Chinese, and Indian, and all in a symbol of love, which is really what the latter two need for each other right now. But, bonus fact though, while the kami Thunderous and Tornadus are based on our manly man-men, the Landerous kami, Inari, is often depicted as both a woman or an old man, changing variously by artists. And I just realized I spent a lot of time on Landorus and Enamorous compared to the other two, didn't I? It really is just because they are just that simple. Simpletons use them. And one last question, I know tons of people are wondering, what are they doing in Unova originally? That's New York City, US of A. It's not Japan, it's not China, what's going on? Well, the best idea I have for that is that one thing that makes America unique is just how diverse the people there are. New York City especially. And it might have not been the first Chinatown, that honor belongs to San Francisco, but New York City does have the biggest and the most Chinatowns, Japantowns, etc. All huge tourist destinations. Plus, this is technically before Game Freak really started theming the new Pokemon in their region. Sure, there is some of that in all of the early games, but it didn't really become a main thing that every Pokemon stuck to until Gen 7. But anyway, what do you think of this thing? Do you think it might ruin the meta too? Let me know down below, and until next time, never stop using your noggin. I need to take a nap.